I had been wanting it for years, possibly about 8 years.
Did that kind of scare you before going in?
That was terrifying. Yeah. That was really scary because he had no idea what I was getting done. And he's like, oh, okay.
Hi, I'm Sabrina, a licensed massage therapist and certified cosmetic surgery specialist. And this is Talk Plastic Surgery, where we talk all about the good, the bad, the ugly. But today, I have on someone who in the beginning had quite a bad experience, kind of a scary experience too, and ended with an actual beautiful, wonderful experience. And she's been doing this face. She is my esthetician who's getting my face right. So please give a warm welcome to Azul.
Hi.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Azul. And what procedure did you have done?
I had a BBL and lipo in my abdomen and lower back.
Awesome. And did you also do your arms too?
In my arms. I forgot. That was the worst part. My brain blocked it.
Oh, I know, right? And we'll get into that later for sure. And in what state and city did you have your surgery done?
I had it done here in Las Vegas.
Awesome. And so did it take some time for you to decide to have the Lipo 360 and lipo in your arms? Like, did you do research before? What made you choose the doctor that you went with?
I did a little bit of research. I had been wanting it for years, possibly about 8 years. And it was something that I really wanted to get right. And I wanted to do some research, and I wanted to have somebody that had already had a good experience firsthand, that I could be, okay, she had great results. You know, this is something I want as well. Yeah. I always heard about, do your research, right? Yeah. And then when it comes to it, you think you're doing all the steps, and then you end up finding out that you miss some. So
yeah. And so when you went in with this surgeon, how was your experience in the surgery center?
It was very impersonal. It was not a good experience. It was I didn't feel like they tried to build that rapport with the patient. Yeah. It was, first of all, I should have taken this as a sign from the universe.
Yeah.
Because it was really hard to book just even the online consultation. It was like I had to keep calling, I had to keep reaching out. And then they would email me and say, okay, thanks for reaching out, call this number. And then you call, and then you never hear from them. So this is something that I really worked on for like 4 years.
Wow.
To finally have them call me back and have them actually make the appointment.
Wow. And it took them forever to actually get back to you.
Yes.
And this is a chain facility, right?
It's a chain. Yeah. So I figure, they're just so popular and so good at what they do. They're just super busy, and it's hard to get in, right? And sometimes we think, if it's hard to get in, it's probably because they're so good.
I know. And then in the end, you end up having some issues. So even with all of those signs, like you were saying, what kept you wanting to stay with them?
So my sister had gotten really, really good results from them. Oh. And I thought, I want that. Yeah. If my sister did it, and she's not somebody who is super disciplined or takes care of herself, yeah. I figure if she did it, I can definitely do it, because I'm more disciplined, and I'm going to do my research, and I'm going to do all the things that they tell me and take my vitamins and everything. So I figured I'm going to have even better results, right?
Yeah.
But we end up finding out that's not what happened.
At least in the beginning.
Yeah.
At least in the beginning. Okay. So then the day of the surgery, did you go under local anesthesia or general anesthesia?
So they put me completely out.
Awesome. Yes. So general anesthesia. General. And so do you feel like you had any side effects from the anesthesia? Like when you woke up, like Nausea, constipation, vomiting, like any negative side effects from anesthesia?
I don't think I had any. I think everything went good other than like just feeling foggy.
Oh, okay. Good. Good. That's awesome. And actually, before you went in for the surgery,
Mm.
like, did you get to have a whole experience with your surgeon and spend some time with him? Or was it like a really quick process?
So I actually didn't meet my surgeon until 10 minutes before I went into surgery, which is also another huge red flag.
And the facility that you went to, that's very normal. So, but I know how it is. I know how it is. And so, did that kind of scare you before going in?
That was terrifying. Yeah. That was really scary because I really expected to have this like long process where he's gonna ask me what I want and what I want to look like, and I'm gonna show him a picture of an inspo or something, right?
Inspo
Or
pics, yeah.
give him like but he had no idea what I was getting done because he was like, "Why don't you do the tummy tuck too?" And I was like, "I wanted to, but your office told me you don't do that." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he really had no idea what I was coming in for and why I was doing it. And he's like, "So you want really big, right?" And I was like, "No, I want really natural results. I don't want it big at all."
Yeah.
But I feel like I emphasized that a little too much because he went overly natural in the end. So that was another thing that I was like, "Where is it?
I know.
Where's the
BBL.
difference?"
I know. Got you. Wow. And so when you woke up after the procedure was done, how was your experience waking up in the surgery center?
I remember waking up. I was in the wheelchair outside in the parking lot. That's the first thing I remember. I was already in the wheelchair in the parking lot, and they handed me my phone out of my bag of belongings, and they were like, "You need to call your husband. He's not answering." And so I don't know if at that point they just like what they do. Do they just call an ambulance to take you outside? I'm not sure, but yeah, that was my experience.
Oh my God. And actually, I've had quite a few people who went to this facility, and one of them told me that on the paperwork, it actually says that if they don't pick you up, if you don't have someone picking you up within 30 minutes after the procedure, they're going to send you to the hospital. Yeah. And I know that's so scary. That being said, when your husband picked you up, so he did end up picking you up
He was
pretty
there.
quick.
He
Oh,
was in the
there?
parking lot already, and he
Yeah.
said they never called him. But
Oh.
he saw when they wheeled me out, so I'm not sure what happened there. There was no answers to that.
Or communication.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, how was your first week after the procedure, the first post-op week?
It was more than I thought it was going to be because I feel like we don't really talk about all the things that we should expect after surgery. When it comes to what happens after and how your body is reacting to it and what to expect. I even having my sister telling me of her experience, it was completely different than mine. So I had no real expectations of what was going to happen. I I went the very next day to my, post-op appointment, and they were like, "Oh, you're going to have your first massage." And the girl was like, "Okay, get sit up on the table, like on your knees, just go on your knees, and like you're like kind of like floating with your arms out like this." And you're just kind of like there's nothing to hold on to, and you're shaking because you're still in pain, and you're still like, from everything, from all the effects of the anesthesia.
Yeah.
And
like fainty, right? Like it
yeah,
feels like
oh
fainty.
yeah, I was like shaking, and
Yeah.
and she's just like kind of like pushing down on me, but like barely. And it was painful, but like I expected it, right? And they told me they're like, you're gonna need about 3 massages. And I said, "Okay, I'll just get them here because, this is where I had the surgery. So obviously they must have the best massage therapist here." And she barely did anything. She touched me for about 5 minutes, and then she was like, "Okay, honey, you're all done. You can get dressed."
Yeah.
So my massage that that I bought 3 of them, and it was about $1,200 for 3 massages, and
$1,200 for 3 massages?
yeah,
That
and
lasted 5 minutes?
the first one was about 5 minutes, the second one was about 9 minutes, and the third one was about 15 minutes. So
Wow, what a joke.
it's needless to say that those massages didn't really do much for me. They did nothing for me, basically, other than like.
Did she even work on your arms?
No, she didn't even touch my arms. I remember on the first post-op, the doctor came in and he specifically told her, do not touch her arms or her back, only her abdomen. So she didn't even touch my arms at all. He was like, don't even touch it at all. Yeah. And the other thing when it comes to my arms was he put stitches on one side and not on the other. So both my arms were having completely different processes of healing. you know? So that was the other thing that I didn't know why my arms looked so different and felt so different. And it was because one drained completely and was healing faster, and the other one was having the fibrosis and the things and the lumps and the things that you want out of your body.
Yeah.
So
all of the problems. Wow. So what a painful first week, And then when did you end up finding me?
I found you after my third massage. No,
Was it like at week 2 or like week 3?
I think it was week 2.
Yeah, because you were still bruised.
Yes.
Like you were still super bruised. And so after she found me and I was able to finally start working on her, and your arms were so swollen. Everything was so swollen. And I could tell that they were trying to direct all the fluid from her abdomen down, which if you know the lymphatic system and you do that, it's going to cause more problems. And in the end, because they did wanted her to have a tummy tuck, but they told her, no, you got to get lipo if you want to do the BBL first. She was starting to have some signs of loose skin. But we got to lift a lot of that skin, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We did. It was it's a complete change.
Yes.
That transformation. And I'm so happy that I found you, and I'm so glad. It's the best thing. She's very knowledgeable. I learned a lot from you, and you educated me way more than the surgery place did.
Yeah.
And what to do and what to expect and what should have happened and what should be happening at that stage of my recovery process. But yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so now after our massages, so how was that first massage for you?
It was amazing. it was painful because it needed to happen. But it was really life-changing, and I was like, oh, I need to be doing this. And I remember you asked me, do you want to get the package and do some more? I was like, yes. Yes, sign me up.
And so how long do you think your recovery process took? From like out of the surgery center to now? Oh, how you're almost 1 year, right? In June, you'll be 1 year.
Next month is gonna be 1 year.
Oh my God, 1 year already. So okay, so almost 1 year. How long do you feel like this whole recovery process took for you specifically?
Yes, I feel like probably 3 months in total. Not just I mean, to see like real results,
Yeah.
I mean, I was back at work, 1 month after, but I don't do a lot of physical activity at my job. So.
Oh, you were back at work 1 month?
Yes.
Oh, and so and like I said, she's my girl. She done my skin. So how did it? And with your arms being lipoed, how did it feel working? Having to use your arms and stuff. Do you feel like it was any different, or you felt more pain or anything?
Yeah, it was it was painful. It was my arms were probably the hardest to recover, especially my right arm.
They had the stitch. Is that the one with the stitch?
Yeah, we had to work on it a lot.
Yeah.
But it was painful, but you just kind of like, you keep pushing, you keep going through with it and just doing what you have to do.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
yeah, it was a lot. I want to say 3 months in total for it to feel like it was fully recovered,
Got you.
and started seeing like real results. Of course, we kept using the fajas and you doing the massages, and that's all part of the process.
Yes, 100%. And even now, because now we do monthly massages, how do you feel your pain level is 1 year post-op?
I don't feel much pain at all. It's really rare the times that I feel like, I feel pain. It's usually when I am drinking or I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing, eating bad things or drinking, going out, that I'm like the next day I'm feeling it for sure.
Gotcha. The inflammation.
Yes, the inflammation comes
Yeah.
back, and that's the only time that I feel any pain at all.
Okay, that's super fascinating and awesome to know. So, how do you feel about your results so far?
My results are natural, which is what I asked for, right?
As far as the booty goes, as far as the booty goes.
But I'm really happy with my results. I think that we've done a lot of work, and my as far as the abdomen, it looks fantastic because the taping and the massages have worked.
The tape.
The tape is magic.
Yes, 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 yes. And that's actually, I'm so glad that you brought up the tape, because that's actually what we use to help lift Azul's skin. And it's so incredible when we see the pictures, the before and afters of in the beginning. And I was like, oh, girl, let's do the tape. I got you. And so as we started lifting it, and even now we still use it like once in a while, and it's definitely getting flat. And the arms are looking great. It's crazy how when we started, how hard they were, and the lines, the fibrosis lines. How did it feel when I was working on the fibrosis?
It was torture.
Yeah, getting rid of fibrosis, that is painful. I will admit that. That is painful.
Yeah, super, super painful. But afterwards, it's a huge relief. And I'm so glad that I found somebody that knows what they're doing and that actually helped me, get the results that I was looking for. And also, to speed up the process of recovering, because I feel like if I hadn't done that, I would still be dealing with these issues, and it's yeah, for sure.
And so, do you think massage is a huge part of the recovery process?
Yes, it's if not the main part of the recovery process. I mean, you have to do the things, you have to, take your vitamins and drink water and eat healthy, but without the massages, you're kind of stuck, and your body is stuck not knowing what to do with these things that weren't supposed to happen or be there at all, right?
Oh my God, such a great way to explain it, because it's so true. Exactly. Your body's full of inflammation and you don't know, like, it doesn't know where to go. And our lymphatic system is such a sensitive system that as soon as I direct it, it'll know where to go. But like how Azul experienced in the beginning, if you direct it incorrectly, then we're going to have more problems because it's such a sensitive system. Wow. Oh, I love this. I love this. And you know what? And it works both ways. I'm so grateful you came into my life, girl, because you changed my life with my skin. I told her, I'm like, I can never not have her in my life again. Like, I love my facials. That is literally my favorite thing once a month. And on that note, let's start some rapid fire questions. Okay, so question number 1. How did all of this affect you emotionally?
It affects you in a way that I don't know if it's more of a mental thing rather than emotionally, because you still feel like you look like your old self. Like you are stuck. You are stuck thinking, but I don't look any different. And then you look at the pictures and you get reminded of the work and the things that you have gone through. But I think that was the biggest part for me.
Got you. Yeah, like some body dysmorphia.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I love taking the photos. because then we go back and look at them. And even 1 year later, you're still changing and looking absolutely incredible. If I do say so myself. Okay, so for question number 2, how much did your procedure end up costing you?
Yes. So the original price that I was given at the surgery place was $3,600. What a deal, right? But in the end, I ended up paying them around 10,500.
What? How did it go from 3,600 to 10,500?
I'm not sure. It ended up being the massages, the fajas, and the pillows that they sell you and stuff like that. Um, I'm not sure where each allotted amount went, but it was just like little things here and there that they ended up adding on that they don't really tell you about, and you're thinking you're budgeting for such a huge surgery, taking time off work and budgeting for the money that you're not going to be making at work, and then you end up with a totally different amount that they don't disclose to you until the day of the surgery.
That's crazy. And that's such a huge gap.
It's a big difference. Yeah.
Oh my God. How could you go from 36 to 10? Wow. That's insane. Wow. Okay. And so now for question number 3, who do you think would be a good candidate for this procedure?
I think somebody that is already in an ideal weight. I don't think anybody that's trying to use this as a way of losing weight is a good candidate. I think somebody that's already, eating healthy, working out, and doing the steps to have good results is a good candidate. Somebody that's already happy with the weight that they're at. Because this is definitely not a weight loss procedure. This is more of a cherry on top. Yeah.
Yes, sprinkles.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. It was so well put. So well put. And thank you so much for coming on the show and doing this. I really appreciate it. I'm so grateful you came into my life. Like I said, I can't brag enough. I literally can't brag enough. And as my last question that I ask everyone, if you have any advice to give to anyone who's thinking about having plastic surgery, what advice would you give them?
Definitely, on top of the obvious, do your research, but on top of that, I think it's really important that you look at your body type, because the results that my sister had were completely different, because she is so completely different body type, lifestyle, everything. I think you need to find a surgeon that works on people that have your body type and that has experience, but also you need to find more of something that's catered to you, something that it's going to work for you and your lifestyle. Because a lot of the times we look at the body type and we look at, oh, well, my friend so-and-so or my cousin or whatever, but we don't realize that they're so different. Their results are not going to be the same as yours. Your body and your lifestyle are so totally different.
I am so glad that you said that. You're the first person to say that when I asked this question. And I'm glad that now I'm actually getting a lot more interviewees that are saying different things instead of do your research. Because it's true. Everything you said is 100% true. And I love to preach that. Go to a surgeon that you see works on people that has your body frame type. Because someone who's a skinny mini toothpick and they gets a BBL and someone who has more of a bigger, broader structure is not going to get the same result as Miss Skinny Mini. That's just not, it's just not biologically possible. So I'm so glad that you said that. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been such a pleasure. And on that note, have a wonderful evening. Hit the like, push notifications, and subscribe. It means the world to me, especially to stay notified with all things plastic surgery. Bye.